sparklers. That's when it started for days together. He was grinding sulfur with sugar in a mortar and pestle and grating aluminum. He used to burn the prepared mixture in a test tube. So his entire house used to be full of smoke and gases of strange pungent odors, but all in vain. The sparklers were not getting formed, but Misha wasn't bored. He had invited many of his classmates to his house for celebrating New Year and had also boasted about glittering silver sparkles that he was making. I asked Misha why he had invited his friends when he was unable to make sparklers. So what if they are not yet made? He answered. I will be able to make them before New Year. There's so much time for it. A day before New Year fest, he came to me and said, listen, we should get a Christmas tree. We won't get it at the last minute. It is late now. We will go tomorrow, I replied. But we have to decorate it tomorrow. So what? We can do it in the evening. We'll go and get the tree in the afternoon, immediately after school gets over. A true friend is the one who overlooks your failures and tolerates your success. Mishka and I had already decided that we will get the Christmas tree from the town where his aunt Natasha lived. We had stayed with her for some time. Aunt Natasha's husband was a forest officer and he had invited us to take the Christmas tree from him. I had already asked my mother for permission to go to the forest. Next day, when I visited Mishka, after lunch, he was still grinding the raw material for the sparkles. Just forget that. It is of no use, I advised him. No, I think I have just made it. I think the sulfur needs to be increased a bit. Can you just pass the aluminium pan kept on the windowsill? Where's the pan? There is only a bowl there. Irritated, I replied. Bowl? Oh, that's the one. It used to be a pan earlier. Pass it on to me. I gave him the bowl. He started scraping its sides with a hacksaw. Ah, is this how you converted a pan into a bowl? I asked. Yes, I scraped it with a hacksaw. So now it is just a bowl. But that's fine. A bowl is indeed very useful. What was your mother's reaction after seeing this? She hasn't seen it. I will buy her a big pan when I grow up. Oh, that means she is going to have to wait for a very long time. Mishka took the scrapes, added it to the powder from the mortar and pestle along with the gum and then mixed it all. It became a plasticine-like mixture. He made tubes of the mixture and put them around iron wires and kept them on a cardboard to dry. Now they'll dry. Only we have to hide them from our dog. Why should we hide them? I inquired. He eats them, Mishka replied. What? Do dogs ever eat sparklers or firecrackers? I don't know about other dogs, but I think our dog eats them thinking they are some kind of sweets. Then hide them in the fireplace. It will be warm there and your dog won't eat them. And now, enough of delay. Just get ready. We should leave, I commanded. Mishka got ready and took the axe. We took a train and we visited our forest officer uncle who got a pass made for us permitting cutting of Christmas trees. He then showed us the area wherefrom we were allowed to cut trees. We entered the forest. There were many Christmas trees, but Mishka didn't like any of them. Cut it now. It will become dark later, I cautioned. There isn't a single tree worth cutting. See, the one here is good. It has got a small nose. Small nose? What do you mean? Oh, its top is short. Similarly, other trees were labelled limping, bald, etc. You will not find a suitable tree even till the night time. Let me cut a tree for myself, I asserted. I cut a tree and started urging Mishka to cut one for himself. Even though I got angry, it made no difference to Mishka. Finally, he found a suitable tree. He cut it and we left for home. It had become very dark and the moon had risen in the sky. The tree trunks around us looked like monsters. We imagined wolves peeping through all the trees. In the end, we came to a halt since we were afraid to move further. Mishka, because of you, we are so late that the road ahead can't be seen. My friends are going to visit me today. We urgently have to find a way home. It was very difficult to walk as the ground was completely snow-clad. I think we should leave the Christmas tree here, I suggested. Just wait. Let us work out a solution. One of us will find the way and the other one will bring the trees. We can do this turn by turn. We rested a bit. Then Mishka went ahead. I waited to shift the trees from one shoulder to the other and suddenly realized that Mishka was nowhere to be seen. Mishka! I called aloud, but there was no reply. Mishka, where are you? I shouted. I started going ahead and narrowly missed a ditch on the way. I sensed a movement down in the ditch. Mishka, is that you? I called you so many times. Why didn't you answer? Oh, my foot! My foot has sprained. How can I answer? He wailed. Both of us sat down on the snow. If we keep sitting here, we will freeze. Instead, let us find a way to the train station or the forest office, I declared. Mishka tried to stand up, but he couldn't. Let me take you piggyback, I suggested. Will you be able to? He asked. Yes, I can. Mishka was very heavy. As he sat piggyback, I bent down due to his weight. I barely walked and fell down in the snow. Oh no! My leg is already broken and on top of it, you threw me down in the snow, you idiot! Who asked you to carry me when you couldn't do it? Mishka yelled. This is entirely your fault, I retorted. You caused the delay, first due to those sparklers and then by not choosing a Christmas tree right till it grew dark. Now your leg is broken. I have to suffer because of you. Oh, so you think it was all my fault, is it? Just because I insisted on getting a Christmas tree? Fine, then get rid of me. You go back home. What nonsense. How can I go without you? So what? I will sit for some time and will come when the leg stops hurting. Are you insane? We have come together and so will return together. Let's find a solution. How about me taking you on a Christmas tree? What? How? You sit on the branches holding tight and I will pull the tree. So I started pulling him perched on a tree till we reached the station. I helped Mishka get into the train, climbed up, and pulled the Christmas tree. The passengers in the train started grumbling. But then we told them about the happenings in the forest. After hearing that, a kind lady offered Mishka a place to sit. She removed his shoe, checked his leg, and said that it was merely sprained. Another lady gave us some food. That made us really happy as we were famished. But now we have only one Christmas tree. So what should we do? I asked. Just give it to me for one day today, Mishka quickly replied. What? After all the efforts I took in pulling the tree along with you, I don't get the Christmas tree, I retorted. Just give it to me for one day. I will return it to you tomorrow, Mishka pleaded. That's not fair. Everyone will be celebrating at their homes and I won't even have a Christmas tree. But don't you realize the kids, I mean my friends, are visiting me in the evening? If there's no Christmas tree, what can I show them? Show them your glittering sparklers. Everyone has seen a Christmas tree earlier, so that's not a novelty. The sparklers may not glow after all. I tried many times till now, but couldn't make them properly. They just burn, letting out lots of smoke. Mishka spoke dejectedly. Don't worry. Who knows? They might work this time, I consoled. I just hope that the friends have forgotten about it, Mishka said hopefully. No one forgets such things, Mishka. You should have thought before boasting. Anyway, I won't give you the Christmas tree. There hasn't been a single year when I didn't have a Christmas tree. So, I must have it this year as well, I clarified hurriedly. But you are my best friend, aren't you? Please give it to me. Oh, please, please, please. He started pleading. Why should I give it? Why should I give you everything every time? This is the last time. You know what? If you give it to me, I am ready to give you anything in return. Anything you ask for. My skis, my skates, my stamp album. You know what all things I possess. You can choose whatever you want. All right then. Give me your dog. Mishka thought for a very long time and then, looking puppy-eyed, replied, No, I can't give you the dog. But you have said I could ask for anything. I forgot about the dog. And anyway, I was talking about things. And a dog is not a thing. It is a living creature. So what? He is not well bred. Oh, that's not his fault. He loves me so much. When I go out, he waits for me to come home and wags his tail when I am home. No, come what may, I won't give him. This means even if my friends laugh at me, I won't give him. You can't get him even if you offer me a bag full of gold. Okay, I sighed. So take the Christmas tree for free. Why free? If I have promised to give you something in return, I will keep my word. Take whatever you want. Do you want my magic lamp? No, I don't want your magic lamp. Take the Christmas tree for free. But you have taken so much of efforts for this tree. Why are you offering it for free? It's okay. I don't want anything in return, I said gloomily. I won't take anything for free, Mishka declared. Not for free, just for the sake of our friendship. It is much more precious than the magic lamp. Let's go. The tree will belong to both of us, I replied. Just as we were speaking, our train entered the station. I rushed home and told my mother about the happenings. I didn't want her worrying unnecessarily. Then I went to Mishka's house. He was draping the Christmas tree with green colored paper. We were decorating the Christmas tree when the friends came. Oh, haven't you yet decorated your tree? They yelled. We started telling them about our adventures. Exaggerating, Mishka started bluffing about the wolves attacking us and how we had to climb the trees to save ourselves. Of course, nobody believed him and everyone started laughing at us. Mishka's parents had gone to visit their friends. But before going, Mishka's mother had baked a huge cake and prepared other snacks. Mishka was trying hard to distract everyone so that they wouldn't ask him about the sparklers. Just as we were decking up the Christmas tree with lamps, the clock struck 12. Hurrah! Hurrah! Happy New Year! Mishka shouted. Happy New Year! Everyone shouted in chorus. Let's have some food, Mishka declared. He was relieved that no one asked him about the sparklers. But his relief was short-lived as the kids shrieked in unison. Where are the sparklers? Oh, the sparklers! They are yet to be ready, Mishka bluffed. What? Didn't you invite us to see them glitter? It seems you are boasting. No, I swear. I made them, but they haven't yet dried. Really? Show us the wet ones. Otherwise, we'll conclude that you had been boasting. Mishka forced himself to get up. When he opened the cupboard, the sparklers rolled out. They had dried and hardened. See, they have dried already. No, they haven't dried enough, Mishka tried to explain. Unless they dry completely, they can't glow. But no one listened to him. The sparklers were then hung on the Christmas tree by bending their wires. Wait, they need to be tested, Mishka shouted, but he was ignored and the kids started lighting up the sparklers. There was a hissing sound as if made by snakes. The kids moved away and suddenly the sparklers lit up, started glowing and glittering. The Christmas tree sparkled with fireworks. Enchanted, we kept watching it glow. Finally, all the sparklers burnt out, filling the room with smoke and a very strange and pungent odor that made everyone sneeze, cough, and rub their eyes. Everyone sprinted out amidst the smoke, picked up their coats and hats, and ran away. What about the snacks? Don't you want to eat? Mishka shouted after them. But in vain. Mishka held my hand tightly. Removing my hat, he requested me to wait. At least you have to have tea and snacks with me. Wait for the sake of our friendship. Finally, only Mishka and I were left. The smoke subsided a bit, but still it was difficult to get inside. Mishka covered his face with a wet towel and brought the big cake. The tea kettle was hot. We started feasting upon the cake and tea. The cake was really delicious, though it had a smoky flavor due to the sparklers. Never mind, both of us ate half the cake and the remaining half was devoured by Mishka's dog.